Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Plotlines. I'm your host, Connor. It's been a bit, it's been a while. I haven't been podcasting as much, though I've had over the last 2 months, I think about two interviews that have come out during sort of my hiatus. I've been very busy, and I'm finally getting back into the swing of things of podcasting. So hopefully, there'll be more of these in the future and I look forward to interacting with all of you once more. If you like my content, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Join our Discord. So, today's episode, we're going through the second episode of The West Wing. We're just talking about sort of what the story is. Usually what I want to do with the series is I want to break down some political aspects of this, and especially political opinions and how so what they get right, what they get wrong, how they portray different groups of people in order to create a narrative. And that is kind of, the West Wing is just this liberal propaganda piece written by Aaron Sorkin, who's a big 90s liberal, progressive now, probably, very much, sort of in the mainstream of Democrat politics. Uh, but the episode today is called Post Hoc Ergo Proctor Hoc. This, I believe, is I think this is an ecclesiastical Latin pronunciation. And part of this show is, or part of this episode is portraying the president as very intellectual. He knows a lot of random things. He knows Latin, he speaks Latin, that type of thing. Like he's very well educated. You wouldn't find anybody like this in real life amongst Democrat politicians. So I just find that amusing. Of course, you wouldn't find it probably amongst Republican politicians either. This just doesn't exist. And one of the principles of this episode is the relationship between the president and the vice president seen through the eyes of the president's advisors. So, not really the president himself. The president doesn't interact with the vice president in this, but it very much seems that there is a lot of tension. And what they're really going for with this is very much the JFK of Lyndon B. Johnson relationship. In this, the story is kind of a northeastern president, uh, Catholic in name only, basically, president, and runs and beats in the primaries of the Democratic Party. Uh, this southern, uh, sort of somewhat supposedly conservative, at least that's what, or like more on the right wing of the Democratic Party, who helps get him moderate votes or something, or gets him southern votes, or helps him able to contest in areas that he wouldn't contest previously. So there's this, divide, and the vice president really wants to become president in after the current president, after Jed Bartlett. So Jed Bartlett's the president, and Hoynes is the vice president, and he is working angles to try and look better suited to uh, be president. And we're going to learn down the line that there's a reason for his expectation of the possibility of where he could become the next president very soon. And basically, the way the president's staff keeps him in line is basically saying that you won't be able to, you won't have the support of the party if you make the current president look bad. Of course, this kind of party politics doesn't even really work in like recent presidencies. There hasn't been a strong vice president in maybe, I don't know, since like George H.W. Bush, maybe. I think he might have been the last notable vice president to become president after. This idea of a vice president becoming or being popular enough to be on the ticket is unlikely. Usually it's sort of an okay candidate or a boring candidate or fills in a category. Like Kamala Harris is there because she's a woman and she's black. That's the only reason why Kamala Harris is vice president right now. She was terrible in the polls, very unlikable. Nobody wanted her, but she fills sort of checklist. Mike Pence was there as vice president for Donald Trump because he was a Christian conservative, and Donald Trump needed to make sure that Christians didn't or made sure that they showed up to vote for him in the 2016 election. Otherwise, there wasn't, people weren't sure if Donald Trump was going to be a true conservative or something like that, whatever that means to you. But that was the point of the Mike Pence element. Mike Pence has already dropped out of the 2020 race, so it's very clear that he was never a real serious threat. Anyway, so that is the main sort of difficulties between the vice president and the president's staff, and they want to order him around to do stuff while there's no actual reason that he has to do what they say, except for they could obviously get rid of him. The vice president is supposedly its own office, but of course, have its own right in office. But really, the vice president has become, second, just in case the president dies, this will happen. Anyways, another part of the story is that Sam is trying to do damage control over the fact that he slept with a prostitute. There's this weird storyline where they're basically say, oh, he wants to create a relationship with this woman because he wants to reform her, but he's already slept with her. I don't understand the logic of it. It's not like Sam Seaborn is a ethical human being. He met this woman, immediately slept with her, and now he wants to reform her. Maybe he needs to reform himself. So that really comes across as just bizarre to me. So anyway, so that just seems off to me. And sorry about that. I just realized I was using the wrong mic, so I changed my mic. Hopefully that sounds better. Anywho, the Sam Seaborn stuff doesn't really make sense to me, at least. It seems like it's forcing him to be a I don't know, a reasonable person, or they're trying to make him out to be a reasonable person, but or like a moral person, but there's no evidence that he is. And obviously, I think it's good that he wants to get her away from being a prostitute, but I don't think he's really, I don't know. It seems ambiguous about what he's really trying to do. On another front, Mandy, who we saw as sort of Josh Lyman's ex-girlfriend, has returned, but she's trying to create competition between a senator and the president for the future primary that will happen, for the president's second term. Now, again, this doesn't seem to happen very often either. People don't usually run against the existing president, so this is kind of strange. It doesn't go well for her right off the bat. It's very quick. The senator makes a deal to be a
have a position at the nominating convention to get himself some attention while also trading away any possible attention he could have had by uh, doing battle with the president on a certain piece of legislation. So he instead just says, "Oh, I'll support the legislation. Just give me a good place at the nominating committee or nomination so that he won't be nominated." And Mandy's upset at this because she was trying to get him elected president, not help him, make a nice deal with the president. So she's now out of a job, and that eventually gets resolved by Josh is sort of put into a corner by his cohorts, by his coworkers, and they basically like hire Mandy to become some advisor or a messaging person and that sort of thing. So she's at the end of the episode, he hires her to have that job. So now she's working for them at the end of this. Now, another element of the show that's going on, also part of the sort of the Hoynes storyline, is that CJ, the press secretary, kind of gets ignored by him, and there's a quote going around in the amongst the media that about showing support for the president, time he needs support, and not like I don't know, just not messaging correctly, making it sound like the president isn't strong enough and that Hoynes needs to support him. Anyways, to make him look weak. So CJ is very upset with getting sort of ignored by the vice president and that sort of thing. And then the president has this doctor who, he has a relationship with, and, sort of this guy is, taking care of his, I don't know, I guess it's what do you call it? It's a checkup. Basically, he gives him a checkup. He makes sure that he's doing well and basically tells him to lay off red meat or whatever. Who cares? And then that doctor then goes overseas for something, and then he dies. And one of the things was that the president was alluding to was that he's not seen very highly amongst the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and that they don't respect him. And now he wants to, now he's going to blow these people that killed this guy, his doctor overseas. He's going to blow them off the face of the earth. He's very much ready to destroy them because of this one event. Now, I don't really know much about foreign policies. That's not my area of expertise in any capacity. So I'm not going to talk too much about that. But to me, it just seems like it proves that he isn't, I don't know, a rational leader. Like, he's very emotional driven. So I'm not sure that was a good sign, and maybe that's the point. So we'll see what happens in the future. If you liked this episode, if you want me to do more, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And thank you all for watching, and God bless. Bye.